I don't know what day it is. I really don't know what the date is, and I barely know where I am. Speaking very philosophically and metaphorically, I don't think any of us really know where we are. I do want to come out tonight, right out front, and apologize somewhat for my very uh, invasive, nasty statement last night about people, and being dumb and stupid. And, really, I was stressing last night too much on the uneducated and the unrefined and the uninformed and the lower income you may have thought, which wasn't true at all, had nothing to do with income whatsoever. But I want to come right out tonight and say I'm sorry for allowing people to not be able to see the fullness and totality of my mind. Sometimes when I speak, the words are somewhat limited. It's not a perfect communication module for human beings. One on the radio and several people listening via radio. It's much better in person where you can see body language and you can really define more of what's going on with the transmitter. And that would be the person speaking about a specific narrative or activity or event or other person or persons. Everyone can be stupid and everyone can be silly and everyone can be irresponsible and everyone has made bad choices, wrong choices, go right when I should have went left, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm one of the biggest fools of all. I'm one of the biggest fools of all. I've made probably more mistakes than 80% of my listening audience, which is not very many with this new station yet. And I wanted to apologize because I didn't want people to think that I was just picking on rednecks or country folk or hillbillies or those up in the Appalachia, or those in northern southern Alabama or Arkansas or Mississippi or Missouri or. I didn't want you all to think that I was psychodemographically targeting certain individuals in certain socioeconomic levels and psychodemographic stratifications. I wanted you to know that really, I'm talking about the whole of humanity, really, and I'm just picking through the pieces to see what's right, what's wrong, what's right, what's left, what's up, what's down, trying to analyze this social enigma, if you will, phenomena from a very broad spectrum and also digging down into the more specific stratas of our culture through behavioral science and sociology and cognitive analysis. And last night I was talking about, the higher educated might seem to be less stupid, if you will, dumb, if you will, and to some extent, that is true. And we'll talk about that. But mostly to the extent it's not true. I have met and ran with the jet set. I've ran with people that were worth billions of dollars, and I've hopped yacht to yacht and Learjet to Learjet and jet to jet and mansion to mansion and party to party. And I've, partied with some of the richest people in the world. And, they can be some of the dumbest people in the world. They can make some of the dumbest mistakes in the world, some of the dumbest statements in the world, and believe some of the most insane, crazy things. And they're also cognitively dissident and biased, less so than the lower strata of what we were talking about last night, as far as education and breeding and just people who have had it really difficult in life, struggling from the bottom up. I mean, gosh, I've seen people homeless go to making $20 million a year. I mean, the stories are out there everywhere if you look. So I want to apologize again. I was not talking about rednecks. I'm stuck on that word redneck because I'm a redneck. I'm an educated redneck. So I don't want y'all to be offended by any way. I really don't. I don't want y'all to be offended. If you got stuck on that last show tonight, I might just delete it, but I doubt it because I don't believe in censorship and I don't believe in redos. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up your butt now. I'm just trying to tell you the truth, my truth anyway, that people in general, homogeneous, heterogeneous. and otherwise can be stupid and can be dumb. And last night I was talking about specific cases, really, that Marion and I work in counseling, where women go back to their abuser 1,000 times and end up getting blown away. Or men go back to women who have gone out on them 100 times. It might as well be a hooker. I'm talking about people really in general, I guess. I don't think my previous hypothesis would hold up, that lower income, less informed, less educated people are dumber than anyone else in the upper strata of the financial strata. So I guess we needed to get that aired out tonight very specifically. I've known millionaires and billionaires who were drug addicts. You know, I've known them who are uh, making really the wrong choices all the time, but just have the money to cover it up and cover it up and cover it up and cover it up. That's like these politicians who went to Epstein Island. They were able to cover up stuff and blackmail each other and just keep the story going and going and going and going and going and buy off the media because they're in control of the media. Hell, most of these people that run the world up there on the Rothschild level, they control the media. They control the pharmaceutical companies. They control everything, entertainment of all types and kinds, from Hollywood to local television. And it's amazing when you've got enough money to just buy people off, or just have them whacked, if you will, if they don't do your bidding for you, So the whole world's screwed up. We've got a major totality crash here, a total crash of our sociological situation here. America is crashing. The world is crashing, and look at BlackRock. Look at all the people in BlackRock. What do they have? 7, 8,000 employees, 12,000 employees, whatever it is, holding trillions in assets. I'm sure there's a bunch of boob tubes working for Larry Fink up there at BlackRock. Hell, Larry Fink might have his problems too. Uh, he may have been to the island over there with Epstein. Who knows? I haven't really looked at that. Although I did think I saw him with Trump and a few others over there at Epstein Island, along with Hillary Clinton and Bill and the Bushes and Bush Senior, Junior. All those folks have been to one of the islands or one of the mansions or one of the parties, underground or above ground. So anyway, I think I've made myself clear tonight that I wasn't picking on any one specific psychodemographic group or socioeconomic group of people or any particular culture or tradition or creed. I wanted to make that perfectly clear tonight. Okay. I'm just talking about people in general. Now, I myself am not a billionaire or a millionaire. And I'm living in a particular community with lower income people, middle income, maybe some of them, yes. And there are a few low income people, and us being in the crisis outreach business, we meet a lot of lower income people that are in need of help, that are drug addicted, alcohol addicted, sex addicted, gambling addicted, this addicted, that addicted, domestic violence, and the story goes on and on and on and on and on. And it appears sometimes like those particular people on that socioeconomic level do have the most problems out of all of these different psychological levels and sociological levels. I'd like to do a study on that. I'll probably start researching that tomorrow. It'll probably be a worse kind of deal where someone is anti-Semitic. I'll probably get in trouble for it. People say, "Oh, you're biased, you're misogynist, or you're racist, or you're whatever." But the truth must come out. The truth must come out. It's been bugging me forever. You know, our lower income people who were not bred with a silver spoon in their mouth, they're born with a silver spoon in their mouth. If they didn't grow up with billionaires, are they dumber or smarter? There got to be an answer to that, and I'm going to find it. I'm going to at least look for answers. I'm sure there's been a zillion university studies done, sociological studies, behavioral science studies done, psychological studies and evaluations done on that particular subject to see if any of you all have any, suggestions, or if any of you have done the research, come on air and let's talk about it and see what everyone thinks about this particular subject. I wanted to reach out to Spanky and some other folks in Appalachia, by the way. Speaking of Appalachia tonight, no pun intended, as we did a while ago. All up in that ridge, up in that north to south ridge, there's a lot of folks committing Harry Carey up there. I'm trying to fool the algorithms, USA, I'd say, if you will, and jumping off bridges and things because of the snow phobia, the snow phobia, and they're losing their minds. They're trapped in their homes. They're trapped in their communities. They can't get out. They're trapped in ditches, and they have to get home with a police officer or a paramedic or someone else has to take them home in a four-wheel drive and leave them there and come bring their groceries to them, maybe, or water, or whatever the case may be. Their pipes are frozen, their roof is caved in, they have nowhere to go. I mean, this people are really losing their minds. My producer tells me up there. She got word earlier on a few things that are happening. And if I know they're happening on just what my producer told me, I know they're happening on a much larger scale than that. And I know that people are literally losing their minds, being buried in the snow, ongoing snowstorms. And of course, we can blame geoengineering for that. We can blame weather modification and cloud seeding for that. We can blame the deep state for that, DARPA for that, NOAA for that, and we can blame HARP for that. And so we can blame all of these insane type of mad scientist things that are going on to supposedly help with climate control or damage or whatever's going on there to block the sun out and reflect it back into space by creating these fake clouds and reflective elements. The problem is, within the context of these elements, are very dangerous and poisonous products that are slowly killing our people here in the United States Incorporated. And believe it or not, it is incorporated. If none of you have found that out, and we're talking about selenium, barium, strontium, cesium, possibly nanoparticulates, graphene oxide, aluminum oxide, and fluoride, all these other kinds of things that are coming down with even little wiggly worms in them and pathogens and all kinds of little creepy crawlers in the rain and creepy crawlers in the snow that are getting into your nose and your mouth and your ears and getting on your skin and being absorbed into your epidural and subdural layers of skin, moving into your circulatory systems of our children and our senior citizens, creating all kinds of havoc and disease and illness and even injury, brain aneurysms, COPD, diabetes, the increased risk of myocarditis. And we haven't even talked about the vaccine thing, the COVID thing yet. And they've labeled COVID now as a bioweapon, and they're making it a felony in most states. They're coming up to make it a felony to even offer these COVID shots in the arm to anyone or the butt, or even advertise them or give them out in these clinics and hospitals and CVS, Walgreens, and all these other places that have been advertising. Come in and get your Ache, shot if you speak Pig Latin. I have to confuse the algorithms tonight. But the bots or whatever they are out there, the little creepy crawlers that are always crawling around making trouble and giving us all kinds of hell with censorship. So we have to be very careful in what we say, and that all doesn't always come out right for us. I mean, I can't watch every word that I speak, worried about the censorship programs and algorithms that are out there to stop us from getting the truth out and getting information out that people really need to absorb and learn and research for themselves and do their own homework and read and study. Do the analysis paralysis, man, looking at all of these different things that are destroying our world currently. And believe me, there are many, 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 many things that are destroying our world currently. My producer was talking about some news today about the increased technology in robotics and how these robots are learning in real time. We went from basic to intermediate to advanced to basic LLMs, and then of course LLM neural network layering, and then we're going to general intelligence, and then super intelligence, and then hyper super duper intelligence, and they've gone even beyond that now. these damn things were processing quintillions of bits of information per second, and now that's gone to some other phenomenal number that I've never even probably heard of or could pronounce. And this is just bizarre. I mean, these things are getting more and more self-aware with the technology that my producer read out to me today, and I'll be reading that out tomorrow night uh, or Monday night. But yeah, it's getting crazy. I mean, these things are getting so smart. They're getting so intelligent. They're able to see and hear and feel and smell and taste eventually. The dexterity on these things, like in the hands, are unbelievable. They're able to thread needles and they're able to do things very, very intricate things uh, with their fingers and their thumb, which is very interesting. And that's what it would take to work in a household to help with children or help with the maid service or taking out the garbage or mowing the lawn or whatever the case may be. Well, we've had robots mowing the lawn forever. Pardon me for being so behind on things. But yeah, it's crazy. Our world is crazy, and you tell people all of these things are going on, and they just don't believe you because they don't read, they don't study, they don't care, they don't seem to care that these things are going on, and it just eats me up. You know, my producer and I both are going insane because of ignorant people. I mean, there are so many ignorant people out there. They don't understand. They're living in a bubble of some kind. They're living in a little comfort zone, and they don't want to peek their little heads out, afraid somebody might just chop it off, I guess, or they don't want to learn these new things. They're so cognitively dissident and they're so biased in their programming and indoctrination over the years and through all the propaganda and bullshit that's been injected into their being. They just cannot change. They do not want to change, and they do not want to even think about changing. And this is a problem. And besides that, we have a situation to where the mind control is assisting people in being stupid and being dumb and being ignorant. The mind control coming out of the Gwyn Towers, coming out of mind control technologies that are out there in the U.S. Patent Office. We talked about last night and the night before, the forever chemicals, the PFCs, and all of that. In everything that you eat or touch or drink or breathe is a forever chemical there, destroying your lungs, destroying your brain, destroying your circulatory system, destroying your immune system. And it's very difficult for anyone to live a healthy, happy, nutritious life when you're drowning in so many poisons at every single turn. You're drowning in these poisons. And it is by design. It's not an accident. We didn't just come upon all of this stuff by accident and stumble into it. I mean, who the hell would be stupid enough to stumble into something that's killing your children and grandchildren by the day, by the second? Uh, you know, who whoever. I mean, honestly, if people read like we talked about last night, what's in these Taco Bell things and Burger King and McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken and all of these other places, Taco Bueno, the poison that's in there. There's no food in there. There's no nutrition in there. It's all been bleached out. It's all been programmed out. It's all been mushed out and crushed out and reformulated and restructured and reorganized. That there's no original molecular structure left. It's all synthetic. It's all uh, petroleum-based processed foods, and it's killing all people. It's making America's the most obese country in the world now. I think it's number one in obesity and diabetes and heart disease and all kinds of other problems. And then again, I was listening this morning to several scientists talking about these earbuds that people wear in their ears, especially truckers. I wanted to talk to the truckers out there. Look at some of these studies that'll be on our website concerning these earbuds causing brain cancer, brain tumors. It's a serious situation. And as I said, if you look at the United States patents on mind control, you see some of these devices actually being used to transmit information and receive brain waves to be able to read someone's thoughts, read their mind, or transmit information into their mind through these earbuds to make it seem like they are schizophrenic or schizoaffective or delusional, if you will. So be careful what products you're purchasing. Be careful what kind of electronics you're wearing, because just about everything in our world today is a monitor of some type of your biosensory data. It's sucking up your biosensory data. It's taking in your brain waves. It's reading your brain waves. It's reading your mind. It's affecting your mind. It's twisting your mind, your emotions. It's increasing your stress level and depression, not to mention the forever chemicals, the foods, the chemtrails, and all the mind control technologies that are out there working together in conjunction to drive people literally insane and to an early grave. And yet we still just think it's all normal. Let's go to Burger King, get a few fries, wear our smartwatch, and let our phone monitor us and surveil us, and let Flock Nova find out where we're going and where we've been and where we're at and what we're going to do and what we've been doing and where we're shopping and where we're going to church and where the kids go to school. There's no privacy anymore. There is absolutely zero privacy anymore. And speaking to our truckers out there on the roads here in America, you have no privacy. You have zero privacy. Your phone is monitoring you. Your internal truck cameras in many of the trucks are monitoring you. The audio devices they're putting in these trucks now are just scary, monitoring every time you fart. And plus, your Flock Nova cameras are all over the highways and byways around the United States. I think 8 million of those things are stuck somewhere around the United States. I may be way high on that. I may be way low on that. And they may be just lying about the numbers. They probably are. Matter of fact, we've caught them lying about the numbers. So you're monitored every mile. You're monitored, surveilled, surveilled, surveilled. You're watched, you're watched, you're watched. They're listening to you, and they can tell where you've been, where you're going, and what you're doing, and they can extend that into your family and children and friends and relatives, and your acquaintances and your coworkers and everyone else that you're connected to. Anyone that you're connected to on your telephone, they are receiving not just your data, but they're stealing those people's data also. And then they're crisscrossing that, cross matching that to see if you're a terrorist or a drug dealer or a weapons dealer or whatever the case may be. We're talking about 007 on crack, you know, literally 007 on crack. 007, I used to love 007. I used to love Our Man Flint. You ought to see that movie, by the way. Our Man Flint is really good. Look it up. Our Man Flint. Flint. 007 on crack. No privacy anymore. Nowhere to hide. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to have a decent conversation with a friend. If they're not listening to you from space, if they're not listening to you in the atmosphere, if they're not listening to you and monitoring you somehow, your biosensory activity that's going on constantly in your mind and body and brain and around your chakra levels, your aura, and so forth. My God, it's terrible. It's literally terrible. It's like swimming in a sewer, just literally swimming in the sewer of surveillance is what it is. And we should have called the show tonight the sewer of surveillance, because it is turned into a sewer, folks. Literally turned into a sewer. And guess what? We're all swimming in it. Are there things we can do? Are there solutions? Well, no. I don't think there are many solutions at all. Unless you can go out in the jungle. If you want to have a private conversation, go out in the jungle, dig yourself a 10 or 25-foot hole and go down in there and whisper to each other. And I'm not even sure that that would be private anymore. We have drones flying everywhere now that are cloaked. I don't know if you've seen the cloaking devices that the military is using, but a soldier can be completely invisible now and be standing right behind you in the kitchen, and you wouldn't even know it, with a knife, or with a gun. They've got these cloaking devices on the drones now where they can fly right overhead silently and take pictures of you, 1,000 pictures of you. You don't even know it's there. You have no idea that it's even there. It could be you truckers. It can be following you on the truck line. It can be following you remotely for 1,000 miles. These things don't run out of gas. They can monitor several thousand square miles at the same time, along with the satellites can monitor several thousand square miles at a time with multiple satellites and bring in very important and critical data to those who really don't need it, in my opinion. Cody was on last night, and we were talking about some surveillance is good. I guess some national security, operations are good. I guess you'd have to tell me which ones are good and why they're good for me to believe it, really. And some FBI hyper surveillance is good, and CIA and MI5 and MI6 and all of the other intelligence divisions and agencies and arms out there that are just dead set on controlling every single bit of your life and that of your friends and relatives and children, grandchildren. And it can literally drive people insane, especially people like me who study and deep dive like Marion and I do. My producer, my executive producer, we dive into this stuff 7 days a week, 365 days a year for 30 years, me 40 years. Uh, Closer to 45 years, I've been diving, deep diving into this stuff. We've done 5,000 shows on our old network, and most of our shows were dealing with investigative international investigations into the very things we're talking about tonight. And the geopolitical scene is just so insane that the geopolitical analysts are scratching their head. They can't even keep up with the geopolitical situation worldwide any more than the meteorologists and the climatologists can keep up with the climate and what's going on in the jet stream, what's going on in the polar vortex. They have no idea what's going on because it changes every 20 minutes. And the government, they say, is controlling the weather. No, it's the private corporations that are controlling the weather. Let's don't say government because government's supposed to be the people. We're supposed to be in a republic here, not a democratic, fascist, insane technocracy. It's supposed to be a republic, but that's gone. That's done, finished, gone. That idea is just antiquated. And as far as we're going to stand on the Constitution, no, we're burying the Constitution every single day. Do we have a justice system? No, it's not a justice system. It's a punishment system. It's a private prison system that we're dealing with here. The more prisoners, the more money, you know? And they don't care about rehabilitation. They don't care about recidivism rates. They don't give a damn about these prisoners in most of these prisons. Now, I'm not going to down every single one, because I've actually met some sheriffs around the country that do care about their prisoners and do care about rehabilitation. So they're not all bad. Not all police officers are bad. We have some bad apples out there that don't need to be on the force. They need to be don't even need to be mall cops. Most of them couldn't even qualify for a mall cop, but yet they're wearing a badge and a gun. They're needing, they need people so bad. You've got so many officers quitting and dying in the line of duty and all kinds of other things. They need police officers, but we need to reform the police departments. We need to reform the intelligence agencies. But are we going to? That's the question. And, when are we going to? And how are we going to? How's that going to look to reform all of these different agencies? How's that going to look to reform our society where it even wants to reform something that needs to be reformed when our society is not even uh, being reformed? You know what I mean? How can you reform when you're unreformed? I mean, how can the informed be uninformed? How can the uninformed be informed? Think about that. How can somebody that doesn't even know there is a problem, everything has been so normalized that everyone just says, "Oh, that's normal. Oh, that's cool, man. Oh, that's just the way it is." I had someone on air a while back, and they said, "Well, I'm not worried about the government surveilling me. I don't have anything to hide. I don't really care what kind of surveillance they put on me. I'll take it all because I don't have anything to hide." And I think to myself, well, you don't have any brains either, because you're putting that on all of us. The more people that say, "I don't have anything to hide," you're just inventing chaos. You're inviting more surveillance. You're inviting people to come in and strip the rest of your freedom away, the rest of your privacy away, literally. Okay. I don't want to hear people say, "Oh, I don't have anything to hide." Well, you don't have any brains either, and you're not studying and you're not researching. What about your kids? Do they have something to hide? What about your wife, your husband, your grandmother, your grandfather, your niece, your nephew, your cousin? Everybody's got something to hide. And if they're in your network and they know all about everyone's network that's in your network, then yes, you have something to hide. You have someone to protect. So protect them. Stop consenting to more surveillance. Stop consenting to more invasion of privacy, folks. We've got to stop consenting, okay? We have to stop consenting. And I know that's difficult to do. I know it's difficult to do because I know there are punishments for dissent. I know that there are crimes being committed out there by our own politicians that are not being taken care of. Nobody seems to care anymore about following up on these indictments. I mean, look at the Epstein files. Look at the JFK files. You know, the Warren Commission. They promised to release all these files. They never did, at least not the ones that count. The Epstein files, millions of pages of documents, and they've not been released and won't be released. I promise you, they will never be released to the fullest extent. They could, which would help all of us to know who is doing all the dirty stuff that are supposed to be our leaders that we supposed to look up to. It's to some degree, although I don't like to be overlorded over. I don't like to be surveilled. I don't like to have people telling me what to do and when to do it. I don't like statutes, ordinances, and policies, procedures, rules, and regulations. Can't stand any of it. And I can't stand big government. And we have this government is larger than anyone probably in the universe. If we have other planets out there, we're probably the largest government in the world. Over just literally overblown, over budgeted, and just sick, dysfunctional, corrupt shit going on everywhere. And everybody says, oh, we just need another election. You know, we're going to get this time a Republican. We're going to get this Democrat. We're going to get this liberal. We're going to get this conservative. We're going to, whatever. Doesn't matter who you get. It's two birds, two wings on the same bird. Politics, two wings on the same bird. Democrats, Republicans, doesn't matter. Uh, We've got socialism creeped in. We've got leftist crazies creeped in. We've got communism creeped in. We've got Leninism creeped in. Marxism creeped in. We've got all these other creepy things going on. We're a technocracy. We got all this fascist government working out there, the deep state, to just finish us all off with their technology. Not even getting to AI tonight. I'm not even getting to the full story of artificial intelligence and where it's going. And when I do tomorrow night, I think I'm on tomorrow night. I'll go in depth on that, and you'll just be astounded. I think at the advances that have taken place in artificial intelligence just over the last year has been literally incomprehensible to the human mind. I think consciousness is so overrated. I was talking to someone today, and I think we've overrated consciousness so much. And I want to go in depth on that tomorrow night. But right now, I'm tired and I'm hungry and I'm going to go eat. And for all of you out there listening, I appreciate you all tuning in. And I'm not here to win friends at all, but I am here to influence people in a good way. I want people to study. I want people to read. I want people to source things out. I want people to prove me wrong. Bring me the documents. Bring me the proof. Bring me the proof. I bring you the empirical evidence. I bring you the facts that have been studied and studied and studied and studied, the experiments that have been done over and over and over again, like the split particle experiment has been done a million times. And we pretty much know now that it's true, that the observer does have an effect on the energetic waves and frequencies and attenuation states of these particles and the energy fields that they reside in. So, if that is any indication, it means that your thoughts are so important to your future. The way you think, the way you act, the way you talk, the way you walk, your body language, your voice rhythm, volume, and inflection is so important. Your attitude and behavior so important to your getting up in the morning. If you go to bed tonight with all kinds of horrible, terrible things on your mind and on your plate, you're probably going to wake up with the same type of things in your mind, and the day is not going to go so well, and the week will even go worse, and the month may even just crash your life in completely. So try to change your mind and change your life. Try to change your behavior. Try to be aware of your behavior. Try to be aware of your attitude. You know, if you add those numbers up in attitude and count the letters with the numbers, it adds up to 100%. Try it. It's interesting. You guys take care. Lone Wolf out of here.